The purpose of this video is to show you how you can learn the music using MuseScore 4. Now, MuseScore, like all applications, is modified slowly with time. And to date, we've been using MuseScore 3, and now this has been, there's a new version called MuseScore 4. So we have to gradually think about moving to it, because with time, MuseScore 3 will not be available. Currently, it is still available, and we can currently use MuseScore 3. So now MuseScore, as you know, MuseScore 3 is very comprehensive, and MuseScore 4 has changed a lot, and there are lots of, I would think, new features in it. So it's difficult to work out how you can use it just to do what you want to do. So what I've done in this little video is show you how I would learn the music using MuseScore 4. And the idea then is that if you follow the way I do it, then perhaps with time, you'll find other little features which you can use, which might be more suitable for yourself. So that's it. And I'll start the other parts soon. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I use MuseScore 4 to learn the music. So first of all, I'm going to share screen. And I also share sound. And I click on that. And I think you should be able to see it. So the page I'm showing here is the page of the browser. It's the back office. And it's the song I'm going to choose is My Moustache. And I double click on it and MuseScore starts up. Okay, I'm going to minimize that. Now, when MuseScore starts up, you will always, this little dialog box appears, and it tells you that this file that you are now, music file that you're now trying to play, was actually developed by an earlier version, MuseScore 3. So, and it says that it'll look like slightly different on this. So you just say, okay, every time. Okay, so there it is. Now, the first thing there's my moustache. Now, the first thing I want to show you is this area on the left here, palettes. Now, what you do is, in order to show these things, what you have is a view, and it starts by default showing you these things: palettes, view, instruments, view, properties. You don't really need it. All these facilities are for people who are changing the music, defining the music. So it's best to get rid of that. And so you've just got the pages of the music, and of course you can play the music if you so wish. Now, in order to learn the music, I use 3 or 4 things, and I've made some notes here for myself so that I can remind myself what to say. First of all, you need a mixer. Then there's always part of the music or part of the song that is not so clear and difficult to remember. So you need to be able to loop round and round on that little part. And not only do you want to be able to loop round and around, sometimes you need to use some other tools as well. And what I use is I change the tempo so I can slow it down to find out exactly how I'm supposed to sing it. And that's one thing I use. And then the next thing I use is, I also use the metronome. So I want to show you all these things. And the important thing I'm also trying to show you is that the screen layout, the physical screen. Now, there are lots of little dialog boxes in MuseScore. And so you need to arrange the windows on the screen so that everything that you need is there. And it's really better that if the screen doesn't have any windows that you don't need, because, well, it gets very messy and very complicated. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the mixer. And to get the mixer, you go point of view. This is the top left of the screen, and you say mixer. And the mixer appears on the bottom here. Now, it takes the whole of the bottom part of the screen. But if you click on the top bar here and move it, it will become a little bit smaller and a little bit more controllable. So, and you can resize the window. So you're putting it in a nice little corner on the bottom left. Now, the next thing you notice now is that this mixer covers part of the music. And I wanted to show you, the next thing I want to show you is how to solve this, what could be a problem. So I don't actually learn the music with the page layouts as they show here. I use it as a continuous mode. And to do this, what you have to do, so I'll show you what I do. You go across here and you go down to the bottom right and you can see page view and the little drop down here. So page view, and you can have continuous view horizontal or continuous view vertical. So I do continuous view horizontal. And there you are. So the music is there. And everything fits very well. So if, for example, you wanted to make it smaller, and sometimes if you have lots of voices, then the music overlaps the mixer, etc. So you want to resize it. So you use, again, on the bottom right, you can say minus, so you can make it smaller and smaller still if you wish, if there's a lot of voices. So back to normal, or you can make it bigger. You see? So the other thing you can also do is sometimes you need to change it by a little bit. So for example, you can click on this 100 and I can put, let's say 90. It makes it slightly smaller. But in this case, we don't need to do that. But that's just to show you how to resize the music window on the screen. So two things I've shown you, how the mixer appears and where you put the window, and where I put the window anyway, and how you deal with the layout so that things are easy to look at. Now, the next thing I want to show you, and this is really quite important, it took me a long time to find it. At the top left, top right here, you have the control buttons. So this is the play button, this is the rewind button, and so on. So for example, just to show you, when you press play, the music appears. You can hear the music. You can also pause it. Now, this is quite important. If you hold these little dots, I'm selecting these little dots on the left, on the top left here, and if you hold the button down, and you can actually drag it out. And this is quite important because as you can see, it shows you also a tempo line. And that tempo line didn't appear when it was up at the top right corner here. Okay, so here we are. We've got everything. On this little dialog box here, you can rewind, you can play, you can loop back, the metronome is here, etc. So now then, so we play the music, and we'll run through this quite quickly because I'm sure you're aware this is now very similar to MuseScore 3 and something you're probably quite familiar with. So here we are, the music is running. Now, if you want to, I would like to, for example, only listen to the baritone part because that's the part I have to learn. So I mute these other things, these other voices, and I go back to the beginning, and all I can hear now is the part that I have to learn. Okay? You can then, if you become familiar with it, you can unmute these other voices, and you can, for example, you can run them quietly in the background like this. And now we listen to it again. You can actually, so it's just a normal mixer, and it's really quite good. Okay, so now to repeat a little part. Let's say I find it difficult to remember this. For time will reveal it. I almost can feel it. I'm going to be so handsome by and by. So I have to click on the first note, and then you can see these little arrows here, set loop mark on the left, and then this one, set loop mark on the right. And now you play, and what happens is this will be played over and over. Okay, over and over. Now, let's say I find that rather difficult to distinguish the notes clearly. I can play with the tempo, so I can reduce the tempo. 100% means that it runs at the tempo dictated at the beginning of the song. So the quarter note here is 86. So if I turn this down to 50, 55, let's say, the music slows down considerably, and so you can learn it more easily. This is more noticeable, of course, if it's really a tricky piece of music, but you get the concept, I'm sure. Okay, so that's that. That's how loopback works. Now we'll go back to 100%. And the one last thing I sometimes use is the, okay, let's play it again. Rewind these up to all to be the same. So that of interest. Now, sometimes it's useful to get the metronome. So this is the metronome. Okay, so I've shown you really all the tools that I use in order to learn a piece of music using MuseScore 4. There are, I think, it seems to be quite a good tool to me, but it needs to be looked at a bit further. There may be some little things we need to tweak, but it seems to be okay. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing. And that's the end of my little video. So we stop recording as well.